Well, after a crazed day in which he was finally listed as available, LeBron James made his long-awaited season debut for the Los Angeles Lakers, becoming the first player in NBA history to play 23 seasons in the process. However, while the celebrations are out of the way, James now joins a team that had already seen immense success from Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. While all three rank as some of the best players the league has to offer, this current Lakers roster is set up to win a championship in the uncertain amount of time they have left with James. According to Eric Beeston, winning the 2026 NBA Finals should not only be important for the franchise but more specifically for James, who, according to him, now has his basketball legacy riding in the balance. Not only is it a team with the stature a star of James' caliber deserves to wrap things up with, but there is a sense that he has unfinished business in the City of Angels, he wrote for Bleacher Report. James is the league's all-time leading scorer, has won 4 titles and 4 Finals MVP, and just became the longest-tenured player in history. Yet still, another championship ring, according to Beeston, is the lone, most important thing left on his GOAT checklist. LeBron needs another Lakers title for his legacy. As it relates to the writer's sentiment, it is the unknown future of James with the Lakers and the NBA as a whole. While rumors have circulated about him retiring, leaving for another team, or pursuing a career in an entirely new league, him staying in Los Angeles has been the least discussed option out of the bunch. James picked up his player option with Los Angeles for this year. He previously had the chance to sign a new deal with the team, one which would have been welcomed by the front office, but that wasn't the case. Beatson also wants the superstar to finish his career with the Lakers, but if that doesn't happen, the pressure to win a championship this season grows even greater. While there will likely be teams vying to persuade James to finish his career with their organizations, there is only one team the biggest star of his generation should finish his career with, his current team, the Lakers, he wrote. James won the NBA title with the Lakers in 2020, but there have been criticisms of the accomplishment from those who diminish its legitimacy. Included in the writer's argument on the importance of this season with the Lakers on James' legacy was a recent article by The Athletic. It was one in which the current Philadelphia 76ers president Daryl Morey called out the validity of the team's 2020 NBA title, which they won in the NBA bubble during the COVID pandemic. 3-time NBA champion with the Chicago Bulls, Ron Harper, shared a similar sentiment. But regardless of one's individual thoughts on the 2020 title, it is clear that many question its credibility, pointing to another reason why winning a championship this year would quiet his critics. Title expectations growing in Los Angeles. The return of James to the Lakers after a months-long recovery from sciatica was the top story across the NBA and has been for much of the season. But now that he is back, it raises the question, like Beeston posed, of whether this team has a real chance at competing for a championship this season. Just looking at the star power, that is clearly a possibility. While in a recent list published by ESPN, the Lakers' trio of James, Doncic, and Reeves was ranked in the 6th tier of old stars with big questions, the talent of each is hard to ignore. James has led teams with a weaker supporting cast to the finals, and the same could potentially be said for Doncic with Dallas in 2024. Yet still, the Western Conference is a bigger beast than ever before, and competing against teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets is a lot easier said than done. Through their first 15 games of the season, the Lakers rank near the middle of the league in net, offensive, and defensive rating, a historically poor sign for any team hoping to win 4 straight playoff rounds. He's hardly done in the past, but taking a step back at age 40 to allow Doncic and Reeves to star might be the one way James can close out his legacy with the Lakers and his career as a whole. There will always be plenty of criticism directed at James as the most famous player in the league, especially with the presence of Luka Doncic in the lineup, but he owes it to himself to silence as much of it as possible and win his 5th title with the Lakers, Beeston added. DeAndre Ayton and the Los Angeles Lakers won 140-126 Tuesday night against the Utah Jazz at the Crypto.com Arena. Ayton supplied his 6th game of 20 points and 10 rebounds this season, and his 3rd straight of such numbers. However, it was Luka Doncic who was the star of the show, adding 37 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. Ayton has been thriving in his new role with the Lakers after being waived in the offseason by the Portland Trail Blazers. While his numbers look fairly similar to his career averages, 16.2 points per game compared to 16.4, his efficiency on the court is much higher due to the looks he's getting from playing with Doncic and now LeBron James, who made his season debut against Utah. ESPN reporter Dave McMenamin shared a story that involved a Western Conference executive expressing disbelief in Ayton's ability to succeed with the Lakers via ESPN. "I imagine DeAndre is going to be a problem," said the anonymous NBA executive. "He's just not smart enough of a player. And the inconsistent effort LeBron usually has issues with, to say the least." Based on his performance in previous seasons, this doesn't seem like an irrational take on Ayton. It was evident he was not as emotionally invested in his later years with the Phoenix Suns or Trail Blazers as he is now with the Lakers. He even gave an emphatic response to a question in the locker room after Saturday's game against the Milwaukee Bucks. The reporter asked, "How do you feel about being a Laker?" To which Ayton responded, "I'm excited." Notably, McMenamin also shared comments from another NBA executive who had positive words to share. Ayton should benefit the most out of LeBron back. An Eastern Conference executive was quoted by McMenamin, pointing out the open looks the center will receive while playing alongside James, Doncic, and Reeves. "LeBron makes people look good. He'll feed Ayton lobs and dump-offs at the rim." Interestingly, in their very first game together, James and Ayton connected for an alley-oop. It's only 15 games into the 2025-26 NBA season, but Ayton and the Lakers are off to a hot start at 11-4 and tied with the Denver Nuggets for second in the Western Conference. With James now back in the lineup, it wouldn't be odd to see Ayton's numbers increase even further with 3 players in the starting lineup averaging 8 or more assists per game. LeBron James made history on Tuesday night when he made his 2025 Los Angeles Lakers debut and began his 23rd NBA season. While the 40-year-old didn't appear to be in mid-season form, he fit right in with LA's surging core of Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia. If there was ever a concern that James' return might mess with the chemistry that LA forged during its 10-4 start without him, it can be dispelled. James stepped right into a complimentary role, finishing the 140-126 win with 11 points, 12 assists, and 3 rebounds. "Very unselfish all night. Was a willing passer. Didn't force it," head coach J.J. Redick said, per Greg Beacham of the Associated Press. "Took his drives and his shots when they were there. The defense is going to pay attention to him, and I just thought he made a lot of great decisions tonight. Really great to have him back." While the team didn't always appear to be on the same page when James and Doncic were on the court together, they should develop a stronger rapport as the season progresses. The Lakers will be a more formidable team with James back in the fold. However, his return won't fix the issues that could keep the Lakers from being legitimate title contenders. Specifically, the Lakers need more consistent perimeter shooting, better rebounding, and more dependable defense. LA ranks 17th in defensive rating and 11th in rebounding percentage. While finding a quality deep shooter at this point in the season could prove difficult, Los Angeles might have the perfect trade target to help address the other needs while providing valuable center depth. The Lakers should target Doncic's former Dallas Mavericks teammate, Daniel Gafford. Dallas is at a crossroads after the firing of GM Nico Harrison. Injuries have prevented Harrison's Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis pairing from taking off. According to ESPN's Tim Bontemps, some around the league believe that the Mavericks would be best served by trading both stars. The belief from sources I spoke to is that the Mavs moving on from at least Davis, if not both stars, was the optimal strategy. Those moves would help maximize the 2026 first-round pick in a loaded 2026 draft class, the only selection Dallas controls the rest of this decade, to reposition the franchise around 2025 number 1 pick Cooper Flagg. If the Mavericks are willing to sell off their veterans in order to maximize draft capital, it's not a stretch to think that Gafford could also be available. According to Fansided's Matt Moore, Gafford is actually the most likely trade candidate. The Lakers, meanwhile, have had interest in the 27-year-old, dating back to last season, according to Brett Siegel of Cliff Points. While the Lakers appear to have found a quality center in Ayton, adding Gafford for depth would make perfect sense. For one, he has experience playing with Doncic, and his age makes him a strong fit for a timeline centered around Doncic and Reeves as LA's long-term future. Gafford, who averaged 1.8 blocks and 4.1 defensive rebounds last season, can help on the defensive, and he's already proven himself as an interior offensive asset while playing with Doncic. Under contract through the 2028-29 season, Gafford could also give LA some long-term security. The Lakers don't have that in Ayton, who has a player option next season. The unknown, of course, is what LA would have to give up to acquire Gafford and whether it can make a deal work financially. The Lakers are just $1.1 million under the first tax apron, and Gafford has a $17.3 million salary. It's also unclear if Los Angeles could swing a deal for Gafford while maintaining enough assets to add a three-point specialist at some point before the deadline. At this point in the season, though, Gafford looks like the best realistic trade target the Lakers could possibly pursue.